He attempted to ram a car I was in because I was in the car with an 87-year-old woman.
Had she given us back our property, we would have not even gotten this far into the case.
I could have carried the virus out of that shop into my home.
The toucan wouldn't be dead.
The toucan died out of stress.
That's completely unreasonable.
If you want to fight, I can get you boxing gloves, but we're not here for that. My first case ever with worms.
Come here, Sophie. Get him, Rusty.
Can I say something?
No. If she hadn't had an oral agreement, how do you do? I know you've all been sworn. I have read your complaint, ma'am. You're suing the defendants for emotional distress and punitive damages arising out of what?
Arising out of a former problem which started back in '97 when Ms. Bulis called me. She had a shop in Santa Barbara named Tail Feathers, which she was closing. But on March 10th, she called me. Should I just
March 10th of 97?
March 10th of 97, I received a call from her telling me that she had a bird she would like me to pick up, a keelbill toucan, such as this is one of the babies I've bred in the cooperative breeding cooperative program of this year. He's just a couple of months old. The bird that she wanted me to pick up was similar.
Without going into the details, I don't know where you're going. Can you give me a theory as to what generally you're suing about? Why you're suing for emotional
I'm suing because these people have just put me through misery. Resulting
that's
from
a nice general statement, but...
Yeah. Resulting from something which was their fault, which is not right. She asked me to come and get a bird from her on March 10th, and I drove to Santa Barbara at her request to pick up the bird. When I entered the shop, they didn't warn me about anything. I walked in there to pick up the bird. I took him home and took him home to my home, placed him next to
What did you need to be warned about?
They had a deadly virus at that time, and
Was anyone injured or got sick because of this deadly virus?
No, not on this occasion. This was called proventricular dilation syndrome, otherwise known as macaw wasting disease. The bird.
Again, I don't want to get into all these details unless there's some basis for it, or some reason that you're getting at.
There is, sir. They didn't warn me about the virus. I brought the bird home. It could have killed every bird on my property.
Isn't that what could have happened, ma'am? I'm trying to find out anything. I asked you, did anything happen as a result of this? Did anyone get sick or damaged because of it?
No, not from proventricular dilation syndrome.
Well, then why go into it? That's what I'm trying to get at. What are you driving at?
Okay, well, they said later that I stole the bird when I had gone down to pick it up.
Who did they tell you that you stole the bird?
They told the police that I had. I asked them later on March 10th, like I said, I went to pick up the bird, brought it home. A month later, they closed the store due to the virus, and I invited them to come live with me because I have rheumatoid arthritis, I'm disabled, I'm having a hard time. So I asked them, being destitute, if they would like to come and join me. So they came to my home.
Did they pay you rent? Did they pay you rent?
No, sir. They were not tenants. I took them in. I bought their food. I supported them for the time. I even found a place for the remaining few birds that did not die in the shop. And I took them in my home. Later on, when we had problems, I asked them to leave, and I have verification of that. And it was at that point that things got nasty. Mr. Kane started doing all sorts of things. He called the police, and they brought the police to my home, telling the police I had stolen the bird. And this is the police report.
Did you tell the police that she had stolen the bird?
Yes, sir, I did.
On what basis?
Mr. Roberts had asked us to move. We moved in 5/9/97. We had problems with her for the first 5 weeks. She wouldn't let us talk to her neighbors. She wouldn't let us do anything. After talking with the neighbors, we found out that she was convicted of child abuse. We wanted out. We have all the documentation here. From that point, we moved out to the trailer. We moved our stuff out, and it was agreed upon that we would come back and get the birds after we had all of our stuff out. When we did that, we came back to get our birds. She wouldn't allow us on the property. So we went down and got the police. We've done everything by the book, Your Honor.
On our way down to get the police, we ran into the police coming up. She had called the police.
Okay.
Your Honor, may I speak? I thought I was supposed to. Okay.
You're supposed to, but I'm having such a hard time with you because I get all these chronology of events. I'm trying to find out what the basis of your lawsuit is.
Okay, basically, Mr. Kane did the following. After I asked him to leave my home, he started, as you can hear, with accusations that he heard from neighbors, which are strictly accusations. I've never been convicted of child abuse. I've never been convicted of a lot of things that he's going to bring up. Mr. Kane is this kind of person who has caused me so much misery. He proceeded to do the following things to me. He began stalking me in my home when I kicked him out of the house, and I asked them to
What do you
leave.
mean by stalking you?
I had to get a restraining order against him, Your Honor, and I have a restraining order here.
Was it a hearing, after a hearing, or an ex parte?
Mr. Kane, during the various things that he tried to do...
No, the restraining order, ma'am.
The restraining order against Mr. Kane.
Yes, was that ex parte, which means he wasn't present, or does it mean you had a hearing?
I had a hearing, and the judge granted me
Was
a
he there?
restraining order. Yes, Mr. Kane came to court. Here is this restraining order.
Were you there in court, Mr.
Yes,
Kane?
sir, I was. We didn't follow her or anything. The judge, we had won 5 or 6 cases here. The judge, Mr. Roberts, sold our property. We have a judge's...
It's a Superior Court judge's ruling.
On what happened. I'd like to let you read that. It states in there that Mrs. Roberts lost all credibility because she lied to us and to the judge. She also stole our cage and everything that we had there and sold it.
When they asked the police to prosecute me for grand theft because I stole a bird that they had asked me to come down and pick up and given to me, and I did prove that it was given to me, here is Christine Sellers, who's a veterinarian, proof of the dates that these people first had a virus. She asked them to quarantine and advised them they had this deadly virus in February.
No,
On March 10th.
Let's go back. I want to stop you for a minute because this is very important to me. This is a judgment on a small claims appeal following a hearing on the merits. You apparently lost the case in small claims court, didn't you?
He issued a show cause order.
Ma'am,
which-
did you lose a case in small claims court?
That was a show cause order, and
Not a
apparently
show
I
cause
did.
order.
Yes.
No, you sued in small claims court.
No, I didn't sue. They sued me.
You were the defendant in the small claims court
Yes,
case?
I was, sir.
You lost it, didn't you?
Yes.
You went to the Superior Court and you appealed.
I appealed it.
You had a trial de novo, new trial.
Well, not actually, no.
Well, you had to have. The judge signed the order.
Yes, but I was not there the first time they issued the order. I asked them to move the court date, and by this time, Mr. Kane had attempted...
You were ordered to repay them $3,405.
Yes,
Have you paid it?
but Your Honor...
Have you paid it?
No, I have not, Your Honor.
Is that the basis of your lawsuit here?
The basis of my... I filed bankruptcy shortly after they issued that judgment. I was not present on the judgment. I was at my grandmother's funeral. They asked me to return, the judge's secretary asked me to return the birds.
When
said-
did this loss, this emotional distress and punitive damage claim, is that after the judgment of the Superior Court on October 10 of 97?
Yes, Your Honor. By that time, Mr. Kane had attacked my roommates, were harassing my roommates.
Ma'am, your roommates aren't
attempt-
parties to this action.
I have a statement from
I don't care about the statement from the roommates, ma'am. They're not parties to this action. And if they were harassed, they could bring a lawsuit.
Okay.
I don't want to
Here's
know.
a harassment from a woman driving when Mr. Kane
Ma'am,
came.
I want to only know about harassment to you.
I'm giving this to you. This is. He attempted to ram a car I was in because I was in the car with an 87-year-old woman and an 8-year-old child. For that, I got the restraining order against Mr. Kane. When he
Sir, We
continued,
never followed her. We never did this ramming thing that she's talking about.
you admitted it.
We have all the small claims court decisions here. We've won every one. We wouldn't even be here had she returned the property from the first one. We've gone through 6 or 7 different times. She's lost every one of them, and the police went over there with us to get the property. When the police came in, we knocked on the door to get the property. She said they couldn't come on the property, and therefore we had to leave. The police were powerless. Had she given us back our property, we would have not even gotten this far into the case. The toucan wouldn't be dead. And we
Mr.
wouldn't have had to
Kane,
go
the
through.
toucan would
bird
be
is
dead.
dead?
The
She moved it
toucan-
up north to Nacimiento, and it froze to death up there. She had it autopsied.
What are the papers you have, the small clip from small claims?
We've got, pull them out of the,
Okay.
sir, I'll bring a couple more, sir.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize you'd need small claims.
Your Honor, I proved from Christine Sellers, who came to testify in the small claims, that they had given me the bird. I was given the bird for
that was never proved.
deceitful reasons. It was proven
No, it
by a
wasn't.
veterinarian. I was given the bird for a deceitful reason, she stated, because she needed the room for another pair of birds. Did not warn me. I could have carried the virus out of that shop into my home and
You
killed
could
every
have,
bird.
ma'am. But you told me no one was injured or damaged as a result. Am I correct?
No birds were dead. No,
Were
no
you
birds
damaged?
were dead. But the toucan later died because I had to move from my home because of Mr. Kane's violence. The toucan died out of stress due to not proventricular dilation, but iron storage disease.
You're not suing for that, are you? You're suing for
No,
emotional distress.
I'm suing for mental distress. And Mr. Kane drove me from my home. I had to move with all my animals, all my birds.
When did he do that?
That was in September.
September of what?
Late September, when he attempted to ram the car
What
that I
year?
was in. And I'd gotten a
What
restraining
year?
in '97, Your Honor.
And that was before this judgment in the Superior Court against you?
Yes, the judge in Superior Court did not realize the bird was dead. He did not know what had happened.
Well, ma'am, you appeared in that case and gave testimony, didn't you?
Yes, but apparently the judge must not have read things because these...
Judges are never right. Oh, I know
Heaven
that.
forbid.
Judges are never right.
Your Honor, we also...
Did you know that 50% of the people that appear before me think I'm wrong?
Really?
Really.
I can't believe that.
That's true.
Your Honor, we had to go, after we got our judgment, Mr. Roberts went to bankruptcy court. We had to file a adversary pursuit. We have an agreement from that court, too, I'd like to give you. We have also filed a countersuit for $24,000, or excuse me, $2,400 for the birds and $24,000 for damages, or
Well, sir-
$2,400, excuse me.
Sir, that brings me to your countersuit.
Okay.
You're asking for the $2,400 that judgment was awarded you.
Your Honor, the bird died due to iron
I did-
storage disease.
And it also
Here's the
says
necropsy.
salmonella on there, so how do you know it wasn't salmonella?
Because it says diagnosis iron storage disease.
But
And
also
salmonella.
salmonella.
From Miss Bulis feeding the bird parrot pellets.
I'm
which
going to
are
give you
too
both
high
the bird in a
iron.
minute, and just wait a minute. I want to know, sir.
You killed your own bird.
Yes, sir.
I didn't
Your-
have it in my-
Your countersuit says you want $2,400, case number 15137. Was that the small claims court case you received a judgment?
Yes, sir. Well, no, sir. It was the United States Bankruptcy Court. We had a stipulated settlement.
You're going to have to get your money from the bankruptcy court, sir. You can't get it here.
Okay. The reason we were asking for it is Ms. Roberts was...
You're not going to get it here.
Aye, aye, sir.
That's in the bankruptcy court.
Okay.
She may not have anything, you may never collect, but you can't use two forums like that.
Aye,
You've got
sir.
a forum, you submit it to the jurisdiction of the bankruptcy court, and that's where you have to go.
Yes, sir.
What is the rest of your? You've
Mr.
got-
Roberts sent out this letter to all of our family, clients, and breeders. In that letter, there are
Oh, me.
nothing but
Wait a
lies.
minute.
Okay.
Wait a minute. It's only three.
Your Honor, I have a
Did
copy.
you send this letter out, ma'am?
Yes, I did, sir, and I have a copy for you, which is
I don't
telling...
need an extra copy.
This is the story, exactly how it happened. It
Why
says
did you send it? Why did you send it out?
Because I wanted the bird clubs to be aware that people like this give people birds with diseases, don't warn them, and then they take home and they can kill every bird in their household.
Did you ever write to her? Did you ever write to her and demand a retraction?
Sir, yes, sir, I did.
When?
Last week, we've got a we sent a registered letter, and she should have that. We also...
Do you
Your
have
Honor,
a
I do not, but I did file a contempt of restraining order against Mr. Kane. He has also been writing threatening and slanderous things on the internet, and here it is. He pretends to be somebody else. It's been turned into the police. They're going to prosecute him for it.
Maybe.
And as far as my credibility, here is a description of hemochromatosis in toucans, which happened to this toucan, which died because of it. And here's my credibility for breeding these birds in a cooperative
What about the
breeding
judge's
program.
statement about your credibility? He said that you didn't have any.
Well, this Mr. Kane has been trying to destroy my credibility.
No, I asked you about what the judge said.
The judge said, apparently, that I didn't have any credibility, and I suppose he meant that the veterinarian didn't have any credibility either when she told...
No, it says here, this is what the judge said. This case depends on a very great extent on the credibility of the parties, and the defendant, Regine de Robert, destroyed her credibility when she admitted that she would say anything or even sell other people's property pending trial to accomplish her own ends. That's what he said. Did you say that?
No, I didn't say I would do anything, and didn't say I'd sell
Judge
other
is
people's
mistaken?
property. I did say that I had sold the 2 cages, which they since have back. I got the cages back for
She
them.
said she sold them. She had them all the time.
I sold the cages, and they have them back now. It should be no longer
What
be an
damage have you
issue.
suffered as a result of
But-
her letter?
Sir, she sent that letter out to our families, our clients.
I asked
did
you a
not
question,
send-
sir.
Okay.
What damage have you suffered as a result of her sending the letter?
Just our Trade Wings account is gone because of this letter.
How much have you lost as a result of that?
What was our sales? God.
Our sales was about 3 to 4 times a year, and usually anywhere from $3,500 to $6,000.
Do you have any records to indicate that?
No, sir, I don't.
They
They didn't send us down anything yet. They just said they weren't going to buy because of this letter.
Right. We
And
asked them for
Do you
a
have
letter.
do you have an affidavit from them or a letter?
No, sir, I don't. They weren't willing to do that because they didn't want any more phone calls from Mr. Roberts.
Yeah, but I need proof.
Yes, sir, I understand, and we don't have it for you. I can just tell you what happened.
Okay.
Sir, they also sent one
You have
bird.
witnesses here. Are they? What have you to tell me, ma'am?
I have to concur with him. We have had problems with Regine. They've lost the place where they were living because of the problem. They're living on my property now. We have had trouble selling our birds because of the problems we're having with Regine. We just want her to leave us alone.
Okay. You, sir?
About moving the birds and everything. Yes, I was there when Bonnie had talked to Regine on the phone. I didn't hear what was said from Regine on the phone, but I did hear what Bonnie told Regine. She did say that the birds were sick. Also, she never set foot in the shop because she couldn't walk up the back steps to carry anything out because she's supposed to be, unquote, injured.
Sir,
And we carried out the incubator.
we have warned all of our clients that we had this virus. This was a year and something ago. Our birds have been in quarantine over the year. We have no more sickness. We talked to our clients. We put foot baths out. We did everything to protect our clients that we could.
Take a short recess. I'll come back and give you my decision.
Remain seated and come to order. This court is again in session.
First, as to the plaintiff's lawsuit for intentional infliction of emotional distress and punitive damages, I find there may be some emotional distress, but it wasn't intentionally inflicted. It doesn't rise to the level of anything that would be legal, in my opinion. As to the countersuit, as I said, part of it is your agreement that you have in bankruptcy court, and that's where you're going to have to go. Insofar as the rest of it is concerned, this letter that was given to me by you that I think is 6 or 7 pages long. Pages aren't numbered, but it's either 6 or 7 pages, and it's single-spaced. I did not read it as carefully as I might have, but I read enough of it and to tell you that I don't think it was libelous, and because there's nothing in there that specifically that I could read that would say that it would be rise to the level of being liable. But above and beyond that, reading it, there's no reason to believe that anyone reading it, especially your friends and relatives, would believe what was said in there. Maybe your clients would, but I doubt that. If you explain to them and let them, if they really read this, which would be difficult to do because of the length of it and the spaces, the plaintiff doesn't trust the legal system. She doesn't trust judges. She doesn't trust attorneys. She doesn't trust, she said she wouldn't let the police into her place, and she now keeps her gates closed. Even if the Girl Scouts appeared before the gate, she says she wouldn't let them in. I am not a psychiatrist, but I have a feeling that there's some paranoia involved here. And so that, as I say, I don't know that anyone reading this would believe that you did anything wrong, either you or your wife. So on plaintiff's complaint, I find for the defendant. On the defendant's countersuit, I find for the plaintiff.
We've got the evidence that said that she lied in court. We don't think that she was very truthful. And we're going to have to pursue it in bankruptcy court, I think, is the way the judge ordered.
I don't think that I said any untruths. I do have the evidence that they did try to give me a bird and did, in fact, give me, with testimony by the veterinarian, give me a bird which could have killed every bird in my... And I think for the sake of all birds and the bird breeders and pet shops and everywhere, I think people ought to know about these kind of people.
We called everybody that we knew and told them about the virus. This lady was in the wildlife,
It's not true. You sent one to Colorado and it died.
No, it didn't.
That's why you lost your count.
She also got the wildlife folk.
You're crazy, lady.
Yeah, the judge called for the psychiatrist.
No,
That's what it is.
Mr. Kane, you're the one who's crazy, and I've got the witnesses.